We've already told you about the Cockroach Janata Party's School Thik Karo campaign, an initiative asking citizens to visit government schools, document the basic infrastructure gaps, and put those findings before the local authorities. The campaign began with CJP leader Abhijit Deepke announcing that rural children should not still be pleading for basic facilities after 80 years of independence. The idea was simple: check the school, document the problem, and demand action. But as the campaign has expanded, so has the controversy around it. Case in point, Rajasthan. Because in Rajasthan, CJP announced plans to visit government schools that it says are in poor condition. And soon after that announcement, the Rajasthan government issued a circular tightening access to government schools. And under the new directions, outsiders need prior permission from the principal to enter the campus premises. Visitors have to be recorded in a register, entry exit per se. Photography, videography, interviews, audio recording, and live streaming require now written approval. The government says that the reason is child safety and privacy. The circular invokes Article 21 and the right to privacy, as well as child protection guidelines. It says photographs, videos, or personal information of students should not be collected or disseminated without appropriate parental consent. And on the face of it, there is a perfectly legitimate question here. Schools are not public parks. Children have a right to privacy. Nobody should be allowed to walk in a classroom just like that, film the children, or live stream school activities without certain safeguards. But here's where the debate also begins. Does protecting children necessarily mean preventing outsiders from documenting the condition of the government schools? Because the Cockroach Janata Party campaign is not only about filming the children, it is asking some serious questions. It's asking volunteers to document things like broken toilets, unsafe classrooms, missing facilities. I mean, the roofs are collapsing, needless to speak of, non-functional water supply and infrastructure gaps. And Rajasthan's restrictions came just hours after CJP announced plans to inspect schools in that state. That timing has inevitably raised another question. Is this simply a child safety measure because privacy is being cited? Or could it also make independent scrutiny of government schools more and more difficult? And Rajasthan is not the only flashpoint, because we all know what happened in West Bengal's Bankura. Abdul Hafiz, he says he and his father were attacked after Abdul Hafiz filmed the condition of his old government school as part of this School Thik Karo campaign and audit. His father later died from those injuries because of the assailants, and police have registered an FIR in the case. 3 people have been arrested. Hafiz has alleged that BJP-linked local men were responsible. The BJP has come out and said that if it is its own workers and its workers are found to be involved, strict action will follow. The Cockroach Janata Party has now stepped into the matter, saying it will stand by Hafiz's family. So the campaign has moved well beyond just fixing the school. It is now raising questions about who gets to inspect public institutions, who gets to document failures, and how much scrutiny governments should be willing to face. At the same time, there is another important question. Should a political organization be conducting what is essentially a social audit of the government schools? Is this citizen accountability? Is it political mobilization? Or can it really be both? And most importantly, if the schools are in good shape, should scrutiny even be a problem? Professor C.B. Sharma, educationist, with us on the broadcast. Many thanks, Professor, for taking out the time. Advocate Anubha Srivastava Sahai, educationist and President, India-wide Parents Association, and K. Gopika, a student from the JNU, joining us on the broadcast. Yeah, since this is about the students, Gopika, I'm going to again give you, pass the baton to you right here in the opening segment. Your opening submissions here. The Rajasthan government says you can't just walk into a school. You can't. There need to be, certain safeguards in place. You can't be just walking into a classroom, filming, documenting students at length. And the School Thik Karo campaign has garnered a lot of attention on social media, needless to speak of. So what's your assessment here?
So I would like to raise two observations at the onset.
Yeah.
One is that before the School Tikaro campaign even was launched by different political organizations, you can see that following the protest that happened in Jantar Mantar, Gen Alpha in large numbers were videographing the conditions of their school. From Rajasthan, from other parts of the
Yeah.
country, you can see that students, young students, fifth graders, fourth graders, seventh graders were coming out with their own audit of their own schools. Several videos showed these students questioning their school administration, asking the principal whether they would be willing to send their own children into these schools and institutions where these students are being taught without any basic facility. Now, getting to the next point of it, I represent SFI. And in 2025 December, SFI had led the campaign which is School Bachao. In that, we found that several of the schools, if you look at the number of schools that have been shut down in the name of school mergers, you wouldn't believe the amount of students who are being kept away from mandatory schooling, which is a constitutional right. And this farce about protecting the privacy of students. I would like to say that the government has mandated APAR ID. Now, in policy documents, APAR ID should be allowed for a student with the consent of their parents, and it is completely a matter of choice. But in practice, if you go and ask the parents and teachers, they will tell you that APAR ID has become mandatory for all of these young students. And there is no audit of what privacy measures have the government put in place for something as crucial as the data that the students are giving in APAR ID. So when the same government then talks about and lectures you about privacy, concern for these students, then it raises the question about the timing at the onset of which such restrictions are coming in place. Taking an audit of school does not mean that you're going in and videographing the children without their consent. It means you're taking an audit of the infrastructural facilities that the school is mandated to avail to the students, and the lack of it is being videographed and circulated, and auditing is being done. And if the school does not have a ceiling in place, if the schools do not have a washroom where the students can go, if the principal is found in a drunkard state, not even able to teach the students, then
Yeah.
should this not be disseminated to the public, and should auditing not be done?
Stark
So if the
questions.
government is concerned about the privacy, then I think they should do an audit of themselves. They should publish figures that where all such facilities, infrastructure, how many schools have shut down in the pretext of mergers, and what has been the condition of our primary education system post the new education policy. So, this audit the government should do from their
All right,
own
all
past.
right.
And
Some
since the
real
government
stark
is
questions
not
that you've
doing it,
asked right here at the onset, Gopika. Professor Sharma, you see, strong reactions coming there from the student body, and rightly so as well, because many people out there now questioning the timing of the Rajasthan circular and also suggesting whether they're fearing scrutiny or not. And why mustn't somebody ask that? Because like Gopika pointed out, to go inside to tell the world how dilapidated our schools actually are, what's wrong in that? But I must ask you, because this is a gray area, this becomes about where privacy ends and where parental or public accountability actually begins. And where do you stand on that particular point?
Well, look, the questions being raised are very genuine. And what I believe is that if these youngest students are taking up these issues and they want audit on this, or they want this condition of schools to be better or change, I think there's nothing wrong about it. We have been asking the same questions for decades. Look, because the student from JNU is raising these issues, I will raise some policy issues. The school education is directly under the government. So the government, the Minister for Education, is directly responsible for the condition of school. Just as in Rajasthan, the Minister for Education is responsible, the Minister in Kerala is responsible, the Minister in Tamil Nadu is responsible. And let me give you an example of Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh, during the COVID, the Minister for Education, School Education, decided that we'll give the question paper and answer sheet to the students to take home and write the answer in 7 days and deposit it to the school, and that will be assessed. Who decided it? And how can it be called an examination? There's some serious lacuna in school education, and which needs to be taken care of. We have asking that you bring school education out of the control of government, just as you have higher education. I'm not giving a certificate to the University Grants Commission that it has done very good job. It needs revamping, but at least it is not under the control of the minister, the government. As a policy, I will say the school education must come out of the government control. The Minister for Education, central government, is responsible for CBSE, NIOS, Kendriya Vidyalaya, Navodaya Vidyalaya, and every time there is something, he or she has to answer. This should not happen. One. Second, my observation will be, we cannot let any Harry, Tom, or Dick to become inspector of schools. That cannot be allowed. You have a school, somebody entered saying that I am husband of a teacher. She came and he stabbed her to death. We cannot permit this in schools. Everybody, suddenly somebody wants to go and audit a school. That cannot be done. Privacy of children, it's too late to think of it. You go to Sweden, go to Finland, and you will not be allowed to film or take a photograph of a child. That's cognizable offense. Why did we not do till now? Now you have woken to the situation. It should have happened much earlier. So schools must be very secure, sacrosanct, and I don't agree that the principal has to be scrutinized.
So, Professor, are you saying that the circular is justified with all the legalities that the circular brings about?
No. I'm not completely justifying it. What I'm saying, I have not read, so I don't know. But what I would say,
well, it invokes certain sections of the POCSO Act. It invokes sections of
yes.
Article 21. It talks about the safety of the children, the privacy of the children. All of that is something that has been highlighted in that particular circular. Take permission from the principal, and only then will you be able to enter.
See, I have not read, so I'm not commenting on the circular of Rajasthan government. But as an educationist and somebody who works extensively on school education, I will have two things to mention. One is maintain the privacy of children. Their consent is important. Their parents' consent. Second is don't abuse your teachers all the time. Don't tell all the principals are drunken. And why do you send your children to school then? Don't send them to school. Take care of them in your homes. I'm for the teachers. Teachers must be respected, and teachers must be given all powers as well. If there is a
but sometimes, teacher, Professor, the situation becomes. I absolutely agree with you. I think teachers. It's a unforsaken job. How many times do we actually look back and thank our teachers? I thank all my teachers, for the very reason that I'm being able to sit here, talk to an esteemed set of panelists here. But sometimes that responsibility is taken for granted, and that is the pathetic situation that we are living in. I'm going to come back to you. Let me circle across other panelists as well. Advocate Anubha Srivastava Sahai also with us on the broadcast. Advocate, what do you think? Is this circular justified? And can one separate filming children, quote unquote, because we're talking about privacy, we're talking about all those articles that have been invoked. Can we separate filming children from filming the physical condition of the school, the toilets, the classrooms? Because if you look at the features of this campaign, the School Thik Karo campaign, and what all Gen Alpha has been doing before, just like Gopika pointed out, I mean, it's really credible. Kudos to the Gen Alpha and kudos to this campaign as well. It's so simple, but we needed that push, and now we're doing it.
Yes, thank you for having me on this show, and I really appreciate the way our Gen Z and Gen Alpha have taken a campaign. They have started a campaign, School Thik Karo. It's a very good campaign, but see, at the same time, you have to maintain, you have to follow some rules and regulations. As far as filming is concerned, you can definitely take permission from the principal. Once the school gets over, then you can get inside the school and take the pictures and everything. I will give you one example. Last year, I don't remember the year, NCRT visited some school when Kejriwal was in power in Delhi. And they did not allow NCRT officials to enter the government schools to conduct inspection. So this is the status. So just imagine. So even in, be it any state, Haryana or Rajasthan or Maharashtra, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, any state, we know, I am from a government school. We have studied in government school, but we feel very bad because the condition of the schools are so bad that nobody wants to send their children to school. So this is a very good campaign. My only suggestion to our co-panelists and maybe whosoever has taken this campaign, we have been following up, we have been requesting government to improve the quality of education and infrastructure in government-run schools, which is not happening. Now our Gen Zs and Gen Alpha have taken a stand and they have started this movement. We all should come forward and support them. at the same time, they should also ensure that if they want to film, if they want to escalate any issue, they can definitely go inside the school, take permission. And at the same time, what is the education officer doing? He has the suo motu power to conduct inspection of each and every school under RT. What he has done, he has not done. This means that if the condition is very poor, that means the education department is not working. Remove those officials. They should be held accountable, and whatever infrastructure is going to be developed, or that should be taken from their salary. Their salary should be deducted for the conditions of these particular schools, which are in a very bad condition.
Okay.
Government should come up with circular and take action against the education officers now. Why they are not doing? Start this campaign.
That is
Pan
that
India,
is the operative
and you can
point,
see-
because you see, we needed a cockroach Janata Party to come in and push the government to do what their actual
Absolutely.
job was in the first place,
Right.
with all the caveats in place, all the the limitations that are justified, not justified. That's a completely different.
We should feel ashamed that this is what is the status of our school in
Yeah,
our
yeah,
country.
yes,
And what
absolutely.
Are the SMC
I mean,
doing?
look at some of the
We have-
visuals that we have here, and we've tried to,
Yes, yes.
maintain on-air hygiene. Not everything that's
And
doing
it is,
the rounds
one
on
more
social
thing
media
is-
can be put on
one more
television,
point.
but we've tried our best to
One-
put those visuals out there.
Yeah, one more point I would like to highlight that
Yeah.
it is mandatory to have a SMC. So SMC in each and every school, government school management committee, which consists of parent representative and teachers.
Okay.
Where are those committees? What are they doing? It's their responsibility also to conduct inspection of each and every school.
Gen
That is also
Alpha
not
is on the
happening.
streets in Lucknow because
Yes.
teachers are not coming. People are skipping through
Absolutely.
broken dams just to get to school. Where will these committees, be constituted from,
Absolutely.
ma'am? I'm just
I'm-
that there's such a dearth of teachers out there, and
True,
those
true.
that are in the position and in the capacity have the responsibility of quote unquote teaching. Sometimes take that
True,
job
true.
for granted, which is the shameful reality that we have to
No, I
deal with.
support this campaign. I support
Okay.
this campaign, and I would request that yes, definitely school Thik Karo campaign should run. But at the same time, please follow the rules and regulation. Take
So it's going to be a
permission from
balancing act.
principal.
It's going to be a balancing
Yes,
act.
yes.
Gopika, what do you say here? We've gone around the board once. This circular from Rajasthan do you think it's going to become a precedent in terms of becoming a hurdle to this entire campaign? Because this is just one state. The call is for all the other states. This campaign or not, I'm talking about citizen auditing. Do you think this circular will act as a precedent? And why I'm asking you that is because we know what happened in Bankura. We know the violence that took place over there. And it has turned a little bit political as well, this entire campaign.
Absolutely. The way there was a mob lynching of a supporter of the campaign, a person who was conducting the audit of schools nearby their home, their father was lynched by a mob of allegedly BJP supporters. And this raises serious concern for the safety and security of those people who really care about the education system of the country. And there were mentions of Kerala from the other panelists. And as a person who come from the state, I can testify the fact that if a government really wants, the public education sector can be improved, students can be involved, and for the first time, parents were urging their children to go to public schools rather than opt for private schools. So this is not something that the government cannot do if they have a will to do, that is to improve the campaign. And regardless of the notices, like I said at the onset of the discussion, we have to have faith in the strength that the Gen Alpha has shown before the official announcement of the campaign. Regardless of cameras coming in from outside, the Gen Alpha will come out and speak up about the conditions that they have been put through in their schools. There are students coming out, there are videos circulating where tribal students have alleged that they were being treated as servants in the homes of their principal and teachers. And with all due respect to the educators who really care about the futures of the student, but there is also another reality of the country where there are people who are not taking into account the physical, mental well-being of the students that they are teaching.
Yeah.
And once there is a spark, which was seen in Jantar Mantar, it quickly catches the the interest
national imagination.
as well. Exactly. It captures the imagination of the citizens of the country. If Jantar Mantar was able to do that for the Gen Zs, I think the School Thik Karo campaign will be able to do that for the Gen Alpha. And once that imagination has been sparked, and once the campaign has started, any such a notice will only backfire to the government, because that will bring more scrutiny. If you try to stop one audit from happening in one school, there'll be different ways in which we will problem solve and try to find a way to audit the schools.
Okay.
As much as you try to push under the carpet the faults of your administration and the government, more will come out. We will dig out more dirt that you are trying
Yeah,
to
no
hide.
matter how
And
much
this
you,
saga,
shove things under the carpet, they call it a carpet bomb for a reason. It will blow up one day or another. Professor Sharma, you spoke about how we need to bring education out of the purview of the government. That is, a policy reform suggestion, and it's duly noted. But talking about this campaign here, talking about citizens auditing, parents auditing, even the teachers themselves, the students themselves, the Gen Alpha, the Gen Z, all of them auditing the institutions that are disseminating education. What do you think is a genuinely effective school audit system? What does it look like? One where parents, the government, the civil society can all participate together, because regardless of what we do here, what we talk about here, I'm still reminding the viewers about the latest visuals that have gone viral. Children skipping through a broken dam, wading through waist-deep water, all of this just to get to school, protesting at the authorities' door because there are just no teachers coming to their classroom for the last 6 months.
I'm all for reforms in schools. Our schools are in very bad shape, and that's the same. After 80 years of independence, if we have not been able to provide equal playing field to all students, rich or poor, we have failed as a nation. So schools need reform. I have been talking about reforms in schools and for a long, long time, many decades. But I'm not going to accept that every Harry, Tom, or Dick will become an inspector of school. This we cannot be permit. One, two, don't demoralize your teachers. Don't all say all the teachers are drunken. All the teachers don't teach. Go to Tamil Nadu and see what government did there. They had an iron curtain of schools, and they said to teachers, you have to pass all. Give them 80-90% so that they get into school. Don't permit also the governments to do that. So what I'm saying is, do definitely do this scrutiny, but don't say that everybody and nobody's are now free to walk into the school and do an audit who don't understand education. Education is not something which everybody can handle. So I would say policy reforms are necessary. We have policy paralysis in the school education, which must be taken care of. If you take care of that, if you make robust policies, your schools will automatically run well. You have a National Assessment and Accreditation Council for Higher Education, NAC. Where do you have the accrediting and assessing body for schools? You don't have any. So what I'm saying is, don't just make it a free for all in the country.
Okay, we hear you.
You will have very difficult time managing if all your teachers stop teaching.
It's a recipe for chaos. I agree. It's a recipe for chaos. So there needs to be strict vigil as to who comes and scrutinizes, but we can't simply clamp down on this scrutiny as well. So which is why I said this is going to be a balancing act. I've got a very important debate that's coming right on the other side of this, short breather. Advocate Sahai, before I do that, I'm going to give you the final say here. Final 20 seconds. We understand that you're all for this campaign and you really support this campaign, but you also don't want anybody to come in. Student privacy and our children's privacy is also important. Anything that you want to add there? Final 20-30 seconds here, ma'am.
No, see, no, the only thing is that government has all the powers. If it's high time that they should now start focusing on improving the education quality. It's not only the infrastructure. Infrastructure, even when we were in school, was not very good. It was very bad, but quality of education was very good. So government should start focusing on quality of education, and at the same time, infrastructure also they should improve.
Okay.
And start adopting the schools which they have shut down. They can run those schools in PPP model, because now education has become unaffordable. Even middle class people cannot afford education in private schools. It is very difficult. So we have to ensure that from KG to PG, we should get affordable education. Then only our country will progress. Otherwise, it is very difficult now. So
All right.
government schools
All right.
definitely they have to improve. They should improve the
Okay.
quality of education,
I
which is
think
more
we
important.
leave it at that particular point, because a campaign that began with a simple demand, fix our government schools, school Thik Karo, has now opened up a much bigger debate. Who gets to scrutinize public institutions, and where does accountability meet the politics? And the question that we started out with, maybe the Rajasthan government is a little bit on the back foot, but that circular also stands a little bit vindicated, a little bit justified, because not everybody can come in and open their cameras. Just
Yes.
like Professor
Yeah.
Sharma was telling us, somebody walks
We have
in
to
and then they
protect
end
our
up
children
stopped.
also.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So the questions
We have
around
to
access, transparency, and of course the Bankura case, they're far from over. Many thanks to my
Right.
panelists, Gopika, Professor Sharma, Advocate Sahai. Many thanks for taking on the time and speaking to us here on News 9.